It's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Focus is presented by RoofMax. That's RoofMax with 2 X's.
Yes, indeed. Our program brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, affordable, easy alternative to asphalt shingle roof replacement. You can find out more online at getroofmax.com or call Ben, 989-859-6751. RoofMax. Coming up Tuesday, the 18th, here in Saginaw at the Jolt Credit Union Event Park. It's going to be a concert, a tribute to the Beatles put on by a group called RAIN, and it is RAIN, a tribute to the Beatles. And with us this morning, the man who embodies John Lennon in that group, and we say good morning to Steve Landis. Steve, good morning to you.
Hi, Art. How you doing? Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. So let me ask, and first of all, I should tell you that my ripe old age of 80, when I got in this business in the 60s, I was competing with others to try and get Beatles acetates to be the first to play them. You know, that was the thing back then.
Wow.
Yeah, I go back a ways, just a touch. What got you into this? What got you into wanting to perform their music, and in particular John Lennon?
Well, I learned about the Beatles from my parents, second-generation Beatles fans, so they were around during that time. I have some older sisters that were little kids, too, probably at the tail end of the Beatles' career. So by the time I came along, born in the 70s, I kind of learned about the Beatles from all of them, from my family. And I don't know, just something spoke to me that from that I wanted to become a musician. Wanted to sing. I wanted to, to get up on stage with a guitar and sing rock and roll music like I was watching the Beatles throughout my whole childhood. At some point, there was a show called Beatlemania that was on Broadway.
Yep,
that was sort of a similar thing to what we do. I was probably 10, 11, 12 when I first saw it, when it went on its national tour, and I thought, what a perfect way to, be a musician, but also have that fun of dressing up like the Beatles and looking like the Beatles and trying to sound like them. So that kind of became a thing in the back of my mind, and then eventually I joined Beatlemania, and then from there met the guys that I wound up being in RAIN with.
How old is RAIN as a group?
RAIN actually is the first tribute band. It came even before the Beatlemania Broadway show. It started in 1975 as an original band in the L.A. area. They were trying to get their own music going, playing bars and clubs, and you have to play a long time at bars and clubs. So they would do like a 40-minute set of their own music. They would do a 40-minute set of the whatever was in the top 10, top 40 at that time. And then they did a set of Beatles songs. And at that time, 1975, there weren't tribute bands. There weren't that sort of thing. So it was a pretty novel idea of them to say, hey, when we do the Beatles songs, let's not, just cover them, willy-nilly or however, do them our own way. Let's really try to sound like the Beatles records. And that is what took off, and then the Beatlemania show came out, and then the whole genre of tribute bands kind of kicked off after all that. So, yeah, they were the first back in 75.
So how did you meet up with them? How did you actually join them?
Well, when I got into Beatlemania at the tail end of its career, it had already left Broadway. It had already left its national tours. It was doing smaller bus and truck tours by the time I got in. I was the kid when I got in. Everybody had been in it for a while. I had just turned 17. I did it for just long enough that, got a chance to really, hone the skills, and then met the guys that were in RAIN. Now, by that time, the original guys from RAIN had left. They still wanted to continue trying to get their own music going. They saw doing the whole Beatle tribute thing as kind of a novelty, not something they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they left, and then our founding member, Mark Lewis, the keyboard player, thought, well, how am I going to, replace these guys? And I really want to up the whole Beatle tribute thing. So he actually contacted Beatlemania and said, I know you've got a few cast members. Do you have somebody that, maybe you're not using that, cream of the crop, your top guys that maybe, don't want to do that anymore, would like to join a full-time thing like RAIN. And so basically he got, some of the best cast members from RAIN to join, or from Beatlemania to join RAIN. So I knew of them from the show. So it all just kind of, gelled at that point.
There is in everything in life a burnout factor. You've been doing RAIN a lot of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get tired of playing Beatles music?
You know what? Sometimes it's tough. I've got a wife and a kid now. I'm on the road 24/7. We did it through, all the COVID,
Mm-hmm.
protocols, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and you can't do this and you can't do that. So, sometimes the road gets tough, living out of a suitcase, living on a tour bus. But you know what? You get up on stage and the curtain goes up and I see, 3,000, 2,000, 3,000 smiling faces waiting for me to pretend to be the Beatles. And really, that is the one part of my life that I never, ever, ever get tired of. The Beatles music, for one thing, I don't know, it just lifts the spirits. There's something about, something about it, the message of it that hits the heart, just a positive, uplifting message that I don't think it's anything you could ever really get tired of,
Yep.
And I feel like, I get to present this music, a kind of a Beatle ambassador, if you will, get to present their music in a live forum to these people who either, already love it like me, or maybe they don't know the music as well. And are reminded, oh yeah, these are great songs.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome were the Beatles? So it that part is
never get bored.
Yeah. That
Steve,
part is the one part that gets me through all the rest of the hard times.
All right, let me get you to hang on here. I got to take a quick break, and we'll be back. Steve Landis, he embodies John Lennon as part of RAIN, the tribute for the Beatles, and they were going to be in town this Tuesday, the 18th of July, 7:30 p.m. All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show, talking to Steve Landis, part of the group RAIN, the Beatles tribute that will be in town Tuesday, the 18th, 7:30 p.m. at the Jolt Park. You can go to the Dow Event Center site for ticket information or Ticketmasters. So, Steve, let me ask, why John Lennon?
It was the sort of thing where I when I was a little kid and just wanted to play music, I loved all the Beatles equally. I thought all the songs were great. I would sing all of them along with the record. But then, as I sort of matured and my voice sort of matured, it kind of hit the same register as John, and for whatever reason, kind of, I was able to sound more like John than the other Beatles. So just from a vocal standpoint, it worked. But then, also, just the person that he was, the message of peace and love and all of that stuff just really resonated with me. So I really felt like a kinship with him growing up. So at that point, I don't know, for whatever reason, he just started to stand out amongst the other Beatles in my mind. And it's kind of always been that way since.
Let's talk about the show for a minute, because this is kind of different. I mean, you really are presenting an album, aren't you, in effect? Yeah.
We started doing this back in 2017 when it was the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. We decided to do, within our show. Usually our show runs the whole career of the Beatles, and it still does. We'll highlight all the hits from 64 when they first came to America to 1970 when they broke up. with costume changes and set changes and really, run the whole show. But 2017, we were like, it's a big thing, 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. What if, we took a chunk of our second act and did the whole album? And, didn't know how it was going to turn out. We play to a theater crowd, have no idea what that is going to do. It's going to go over. And it went over like gangbusters. People just loved it. So now we're doing, not only we didn't want to leave behind the Sgt. Pepper, so now we're doing kind of like the best of Sgt. Pepper, and we're doing the best of Abbey Road. We've been doing that since its 50th anniversary.
So I have to ask this question.
Sure.
Is the RAIN member that plays Paul McCartney a left-handed guitarist?
He is, and the funny thing is, he didn't plan on being left-handed. When he lifelong musician, he was a drummer. He never even picked up a guitar or bass or anything like that. He was a drummer. Now the cool thing about being a drummer is, obviously, if you picture it, they're ambidextrous. They're just naturally using both hands pretty much equally. And so I think this is my theory. I think that is what helped him when he decided, okay, I'm put down the drumsticks and I'm going to become a bass player for
right. You could do it either way.
I think that's probably what really helped him. What helped him do it, because he'd always been naturally really adept with both hands. I think that probably helped him learn southpaw.
Well, Steve, we're looking forward to you coming to Saginaw, and hope you have a great show, and congratulations on all the success so far with RAIN, and may it continue. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Art. I really appreciate it. Take care. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye, Art.
Steve Landis from the group RAIN. They will be in town Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. at the Jolt Event Park. You can either go online to the Jolt Event Park, Jolt Credit Union Event Park, or at the Dow Event Center, either way, and pick up your tickets for it. Again, it's coming up Tuesday, the 18th.